Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. This video we're going to discuss on hypothesis testing for single mean. We're going to use hypothesis testing to make a decision about unknown population parameter based on sample evidence. For hypothesis statement, we're going to have null hypothesis and also alternative hypothesis. We're going to denote our null hypothesis H null, and it will always contains no different or effect. For alternative hypothesis, we're going to denote it as H1. Here are some examples of hypothesis testing. We look into the first one. H1, there is no effect of fertilizer on plant growth. H1 will be, there is an effect of fertilizer on plant growth. H1 will be the opposite of H0. Second one, we have mu, the mean length of all screw. H0, the mu equal to 20 millimeters. H1 will be mu not equal to 20 millimeters. In hypothesis testing, we're going to have rejection area. Our rejection area is based on what we have in our H1. Let's say first one, H1 mu greater than 20 millimeters. As you can see, the sign here is pointed to the right. So we're going to have right tail test. Right tail test, you're going to have this area. Second one, H1 less than 20 millimeters. Our mu is less than, so pointed to the left. Instead, we're going to have a left tail test. This is the rejection region for left tail test. Next, we have two tail test, where in H1 we're going to have sign not equal to. So it will be two tail on the right hand side and also left hand side. For each rejection area, we have rules. Right tail, Z that we calculate is greater than Z alpha, so we reject our null hypothesis. For left tail, if our Z that we calculate is less than Z alpha, we're going to reject our null hypothesis. Then, if we have two tail tests, we're going to have Z that we calculate is less than negative Z alpha over 2, or Z that we calculate is greater than Z alpha over 2, we're going to reject our null hypothesis. Here are the steps in a hypothesis testing. First, we need to identify the claim and state our hypothesis statement. Then we need to obtain the critical value, the value of your Z, of your T, or any test that we want to do based on our probability distribution table. Next, we need to compute the test statistic. We need to calculate here. After that, we need to make a decision, either reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. Then we can make our conclusion. When we want to calculate our test statistic, we need to see whether the value of sigma is known or unknown. If your sigma is known, we're going to use the first formula here. If our sigma is unknown, we need to check for the value of n. If our n is greater than or equal to 30, we're going to use this second formula. Still, we're going to find our Z. But then, if our n is less than 30, we're going to use T. This is the formula. If your sigma is unknown and the value of your n is less than 30. We look into one example, example 5, with the question and write down all the information we have in this question. So, we identified our mu as the mean yearly expenses on the internet in Ringgit, Malaysia. We have sample of 50, means that our n is equal to 50. From this sample, the mean expenses is 1,300, means that we have our x bar equal to 1,300. Sample standard deviation 1,000 100. S equal to 1,100 ringgit. We want to see whether there is sufficient evidence to reject the claim that the mean or yearly expenses is 1,500. Our null hypothesis will be mu equal to 1,500. H1, the alternative hypothesis, mu will not equal to 1,500. Our claim that the mean is 1,500 is we're going to denote as equal sign. So H null is our claim. Based on the hypothesis statement, we're going to have a two-tailed test. First step, just now we determine our hypothesis statement and also claim of our analysis. Second step, we need to obtain critical value. The question asks us to test at alpha equal to 0.05. Remember, we have two-tailed test. Instead, we have two rejection region, the right hand side and also the left hand side. So we need to divide our alpha with 2. Alpha over 2 will be equal to 0.025. When alpha equal to 0.025, your Z alpha will be equal to 1.96. So remember, we have two-tailed test. So we're going to have two values, negative 1.96 and also positive 1.96. So when we draw our bell-shaped graph, we're going to have right hand side 1.96, the left hand side negative 1.96. So the shaded area will be our rejection region. Next step, we need to compute test statistics. Since our n here is equal to 50, which is greater than 30, we didn't know the value of sigma. We're going to use sec equal to x bar minus mu divided with s over square root of n. We substitute the value of x bar, which is 1,300 minus the mu 1,500 divided with s over square root of n. 1,100 divided with square root of 50. We have our z equal to negative 1.286. Next, we need to make a decision. Either we reject or fail to reject H null. The value that we calculate for z just now, we get negative 1.286. Let's put it on our bell-shaped graph. So negative 1.286 will be on the left hand side, but it is greater than 1.96, so it will be somewhere here, negative 1.286. As you can see, the z that we calculate does not fall in the rejection region. Since the z that we calculate, which is negative 1.286, is more than negative z alpha over 2, negative 1.96, and does not fall in rejection region, we fail to reject our null hypothesis. After we make our decision, we need to state our conclusion. Since we fail to reject H null, there is no enough evidence to reject the claim. The mean expenses on the internet per year is 1,500. You can try to solve all the questions in exercise 3. Good luck and thank you.